right, my friends, we are back with the number 7 in this numerology series 7. Okay, so 7 is at the time this child has progressed to the second grade, right? So this child, in this sense, would be this person now, right? They are now a little bit more wiser. So now they know that they don't necessarily have to give out all of the knowledge that they have. They can give it out selectively because they are wiser. They have more information and they can choose which information that they want to share because their minds have now gotten to a point to where they can do some self-analysis. They can do some self-editing, some self-correction. Okay, right? So the 7 is a thinking type number. So the second grader may do a little bit more thinking than necessarily the kindergarten person because the second grader now realizes the 7-year old that there's consequences, that there's choices, and that there's cause and effect. If I do this, this happens. If I don't do this, that they have a little bit more of a rational thought process. Now, the second grader, the 7-year old, is also the person that the other children in the house come to and say, do you think I should ask mommy for this? And they say, no, she's sleeping. Do you think? And they say, yes, because they're the little advisor in the house. When there's multiple children around, right? When they're in the situation of where they know they have knowledge that the 2-year old doesn't have, that the 4-year old doesn't have, that the 5-year old doesn't have, so they're like, I can share how to do this math problem, right? So the 7 is kind of aristocratic in a sense. 7 is also a spiritual number because the 7, getting in touch with the self, is a spiritual transition. So the 7-year old is more aware of their body because their body is changing. They're more aware of the fact that they're taller, that their shoes they need bigger shoes, they need different clothes. They're more aware of that, right? Because they're 7 versus they weren't so aware of it when they were 3, and they weren't so aware of it when they were 4, nor really 5. But at 7, they're like, wait, I need new pants, right? Internal thought, internal dialogue. Okay. The 7 is a little bit more comfortable not hanging out with all the kids in the house, not hanging out with everybody. They're a little bit more comfortable with a little bit of me time because they want to spend some time evaluating. They want to do a little covering, right? They just want to do a little thought processing. Okay. Analytical thinker advisor. That's the 7. His background that you see represents a church for spirituality. So let's take and put some 0 energy behind the 7. A person who has had time to do a bit of self-reflecting normally is a more spiritually evolved person. They're normally on a higher vibration if they have done the analysis appropriately and not just said, I'm right and everybody else is wrong. High vibes, right? High vibes. A person in their 70s, other people come to and say, hey, grandmother, grandfather, wise woman, wise sir, you have this knowledge, this information. How did you make it to 70? How did you do this? How did you do that? So they're giving advice to others from that position of they've accomplished something and other people recognize that they've accomplished it and they want to get that knowledge and get what that person has obtained. The 7 is also a number of researching because in order to get that information, you have to come inquire about it. So you're seeking knowledge. So it is a time in one's life where they're seeking knowledge. Sometimes the knowledge that people in their 70s are seeking is the spiritual nature of transitions, the afterlife, the next life, and that kind of thing. Or the knowledge of how do I make sure my estate will be well when I pass it along. They're thinking of maybe I have 20 years left, maybe it's a different thought process than a person who's in their 20s. And they might be thinking of maybe I need to put a book together so that people can know this, or maybe I need to do a video and say these different things and leave this behind. See, they're really into the self analysis and self awareness. The downside to this is they can become very pessimistic, depressed, or even anxiety ridden over what's happening, the transitions. Oh my God, what's going to happen when I'm no longer here? I got that one kid, they're never going to be able to survive without me. This other kid, they're going to spend all the money. They can start worrying and other things can consume them. What happens if my health fails and I have to move in with so and so? Or I don't have any kids. There's no one to take care of me. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough social security. So they could be too much into thinking about all the what ifs on the negative side instead of thinking of the joys of life. Okay. That's the 7 energy. Sometimes when a person is in that energy, they can actually abuse other substances, abuse prescription medication, abuse non-prescription medication, abuse people, take advantage of people's kindness. There's a lot of things that can happen. So, is the 7 good for people in relationships? It can be if you understand the 7. 7s and 1s can be all right, right? 7 and 5s can be all right because the 7 will tell that 5, hey, I'll see you when you get back from that trip. I'm good. Deuces. When you have the angel numbers, the 7777 repeating patterns, that number is telling you it's time to take a pause. It's time to do some self-reflection. It's time to see if your life is going in the direction where you need for it to go. The other side of too many 7s is telling you that maybe you're depressed or you're too much in your head. Maybe you need to go seek some help about this. Maybe you need to go interact with other people. Maybe you've been alone for too long. Maybe you need to join a group to break the 7 energy, right? Maybe you need to come out of hibernation, right? Maybe you need to share your knowledge with other people. Maybe you need to focus on the book. It depends on what that is. Maybe if it's 2 7s, you need to travel to seek higher knowledge, right? You understand? Okay. So when you evaluate from the standpoint of where am I in my life? What is happening in my life? If you know you have not been inside in 3 months, the 7 is probably telling you get outside, right? Pay attention to the energy. Okay. All right, you guys, we're coming to the conclusion. Only 2 more numbers to go. By the way, you like these? Like, share, comment so that I can do more of these videos for you. Get my books. Yeah, they help. You want a relationship reading? Go to my website, get the information. I make a video for you, private video for you, so you can understand your relationship. Be well.